Alright. Well, the hood's on. And hood latches are on. And so far, I'm satisfied with how they look and how they came out. Now I still have to do some hood work, obviously, fitting and whatnot, so don't be too critical of me. And I still gotta do the scoop. I need to look and see what the status is on my metal, because I ordered it probably a week ago, I think. Might have just been this week, I don't know, I'm impatient. I'll look it up to see where the status is on that. It should have shipped by now, but I don't know if it has actually. But I need to do a little bit of body work. A little bit of fixing up around that patch that I did. Sorry, poor camera work. A little patch, little things here. The kind of downside is I did go ahead and mount the hood pins. I probably should have waited till the hood was finished, but because they have a threaded retaining ring on the bottom, and they have 3 Allen set screws that you use green Loctite on, so those will be fun getting out. But anyways, yeah, so how they work. Obviously, they have a key that they can be locked, but you just push, and lift, and voila. And let's see if the light can see worth the shit, but that's what they look like. And you can see the machine work, how it's beveled. These actually, these are quick-latch, by the way. They, the angle of the pin doesn't have to be perfectly, what is it, perpendicular to, I guess, to this latch hole, like a normal head pin was. You have good bit of angle you can hit and they still function. Anyways, I opted to mount them off the normal bumper location for a couple reasons. I was contemplating, first I thought about doing it here. There's not enough clearance. These hood pins require 1.5 inches, and I had just at 1 inch. So I didn't have enough clearance for here, even if I like flattened this out, which I don't know why this is bent up like that, but probably rubber mallet that down some later. But anyways, I found a forum where, I don't know how true this is, but they had said something about their original Ford GT 350s maybe, mounted them this way. Now I was thinking that the GT 350s were the Shelbys. They were Shelby GT 350s, is what I thought. And I believe they had a bracket that mounted off of this, that extended this because they were long nose hoods, which Mustangs to Fierce sells that bracket. And all it does is it bolts through this and it comes out and then it angles back and bolts down here to the core support. Granted, that wouldn't work in my case because I have a big ass intercooler pipe in the way. But, so for one, I do plan on doing a long nose conversion on this car later and doing a Shelby front end. I want an Eleanor style hood, a Shelby front nose section. I like retaining the front bumper. I like the look of the front bumper on these cars. And I like the Shelby nose, how it has the lengthened front end and that wide open top. And then it has that wide, narrow scoop at the bottom. Whenever I go to that, I'll be changing intercooler. And I'll change the way it fits up. And I'll change my intercooler piping. So I'll be able to use that bracket. And my hood pin will mount out like here. Anyways, on the forum, they said that they would put the hood pins from Ford here and just move the bumpers to the front fender bolt. And I tested it out, and it seems to have worked out decently. Now, I do have these billet style bumpers, so you can barely see a little bit of the aluminum when the hood's shut, but I don't think it's a big of a deal. But the main thing I didn't want to do was I contemplated ordering another set of these and welding them or bolting them to the back where my hood pin would be here. And then that would have put my hood pin itself, or my latch piece, going through just this piece that's single. So I wouldn't have had to do this huge cutout to be able to get that ring through. Would have worked a lot better, would have been cleaner fit, but I would have had to drill holes in my core support or weld on the back for something that wouldn't be there permanent, because like I said, going long nose. So eventually the hood pins will come forward and mount like this area with those brackets. And then the bumper goes back in this spot once that happens. But anyways, that's what I've done. And when bringing it down, you can either bring it down softly and push down on it, just like a normal hood latch, or you can just kind of let the weight drop it right at the last bit, and it locks them both. And they are solid. I don't know if you can see that, but the metal actually deflects around it. Like, they're solid. I can lift on the car, lifting on the hood there. I do have my latch piece under here. The hook, which I had to cut off the front piece because of the intercooler, obviously. So it's not really supported, it's flimsy. I don't know if you can see that moving. Here, I'll pop this again. Anyway, so this hood latch piece is just kind of flimsy. So I wanted to keep the actual latch because your liability reasons they tell you to with hood pins to keep your latch, that they're not a replacement, they are an additional safety mechanism. A ton of people run just hood pins, tons of people. These, I feel, are stronger than normal hood pins anyways. Granted, you don't have that, you are trusting a mechanism that locks, and it locks, I guess, similar to the way a quick latch air compressor tool piece would be with like the ball bearings and whatnot. But they're rated for like 700 or 800 pounds a piece. And I don't think the wind's putting that much force against this hood. But anyways, I would love to keep the latch, but my hook hits the top of the intercooler because of the thickness of it. If it was back to there, it would have cleared. If I could recess the intercooler back in this little radiator opening, it would clear. But I can't. So until I can drop the intercooler down, or until I decide to, it'll stay with just hood pins. And this would literally be this would be the extra safety to the normal hood pins, because this is flimsy unless I found a way to strengthen this by either welding something here that would go down and like bolt to the frame supports, which would look like trash in my opinion because you would see that bar going across in front of the intercooler. Or unless I had something that would come down and then back to bolt to the normal hole that's down here. But then you'd see a vertical bar coming down here, so on. But that's the way it looks now. And that I like. Still have to put the front bumper on. And I might end up trying to see if I can do anything with the, I don't think I will be able to do anything with the rock guard piece or any of this grill section. I might be able to actually figure out a way to bolt the grill in, which I don't know if I will or not, but I could maybe do that. But the rock guard pieces they inset and they would hit on these intercooler piping pieces. So that's a no-go. I don't remember, I think I showed this in the last video, but I got my inner panels put in and I ended up getting this to fit without really any showing. You can barely see the hole at the top when you go to crank it, which I'm not gonna do, but it ended up fitting decently. I didn't need to trim the carpet back or trim the bottom like I had talked. It ended up fitting decently. I did have to burr this down to clear the piece that bolts onto the crank gear. But I got those put in, and I got, which I guess I could have opened the door from that side. I got that panel put in. I don't know why I walked over here. I should just open the damn door. Yeah, I got this panel done. Went ahead and put crank on, swapped my handle out to this one. It functions nicely, and hopefully people won't be confused. I don't know why everyone that's rode it in my car cannot figure out how that handle functions. It flips out and then gives you a handle to lift on. It just has a spring that flips that little lap paddle piece out. But people couldn't figure that out. They always tried to grab the bottom of it and lift, and then it would swing out and scare the crap out of them. They thought they broke it or something. I don't know. But anyways, so these cause this. Yeah. So that's the only downside. They stick out further than the notch is cut. I could maybe try to razor blade this real carefully, but I think it will expose like beige colored foam underneath. Not sure. So I don't think this is actually real lace. I think this is just a molding, just a rubber molding of all this. I don't know if the original ones were real lace over foam or not. Never really looked at them. But I don't know if I could cut that and notch it bigger so the handle would not bulge it out, and maybe spray some vinyl fabric spray stuff to cover it up. Since it's on the underside, I don't think it would notice it that much, but I don't think anybody's really gonna notice this stick out a whole lot unless they're looking for it, or unless they're me, which I'm real critical like that, so I see shit. But this backside doesn't have anything, and it still doesn't sit tight. There, sorry, camera work again. Yeah, so that doesn't sit tight either. So I don't know. I did look into different gaskets. I think I'm gonna order a set of those Daniel Carpenter gaskets, I think. That I am blanking on who recommended it. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, but someone in the comments recommended checking out Daniel Carpenter weather strip. I think I'm gonna order a set of those and try to redo these and see if those will make this close better. And maybe it's just my poor weather stripping adhesive skills, like where there's a little bit of a gap here. It's not super tight, and maybe that's why it doesn't wanna, the door doesn't wanna close nicely. But you take that weather stripping off, these things you can just kinda, and they'll close. But now you see that weather stripping giving it that spring back. But I want these doors to go back to closing super nice how I had them. And then I gotta figure out whether or not the weather stripping actually is making this poke out, or if it actually flexed the door and caused it to bend out. Or if maybe my bolts on the back of the door here just weren't real tight and they just caused the door to twist out some. Anyways, yeah, that's the, there's the bumper I was talking about where you see it a little bit. I don't think it's that big a deal. You don't see it so much looking straight down on it. When you stand out to the side, you'll see it. Anyways, that's it. It's kind of late now, and my roommate's not here in case I do have any problems for whatever reason that, God forbid, I'd break down on the road with the dang thing again. But he's not here right now, so I don't have a truck to tow me home if I do happen to have issues. I've taken it out several times, and so far it's been running great. Been data logging a little bit, and I've been letting it auto self-learn, self-tune, and you're not supposed to build boost on the turbo till I think 100 miles, and I've brought it up just, it's this wastegate spring set at like 3 pounds. I don't think that's that big of a deal, but I've brought it up a couple times just to make sure it is building boost like it's supposed to, and so far it's so good. I mean, it's driving good. I haven't dogged on it or anything or done any kind of burnouts, anything like that, but I've drove it enough to where I'm starting to feel more confident in the car as being a driver. So tomorrow I'll take it for a test spin with the hood on it, see how it does, see how it sounds now. I mean, granted, I've got a big ass hole in it, so it's not gonna sound anything like once I seal that up, but it's pretty obnoxiously loud with no hood, I know that. All you hear is turbo sound. Loud whooshy whooshies. Anyways, that's it for the video. I just mainly wanted to show off these hood pins. Check these guys out. I don't know how their tech support is. I want to say I sent them an email asking them about warranty, and I don't think I ever got a damn reply. But it's probably on their website somewhere. But they make some pretty cool stuff, I think. They're a little pricey, but they're well made, machined, obviously made in the USA there, but they seem to be really good. The only thing I would say is if you go with these, I don't know if I'd use their recommended hole saw size for the top of the hood. They said 1 5/8. I think you could get away with a 9/16 safer, because it gave a lot of slop, which is probably meant so you'd have some adjustability to center it better with the hood pin. But I think if you're real careful with your measurements and cutting and drilling and whatnot, then you won't have that issue. You can always go a little bigger if you need to. Can't really put it back. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Adios.